All right, my people, let's break down the playbook for 2026, especially from a spiritual, which we all should be coming from, perspective, whether that be me, what I call a Chris, most of us call it Christian or Christian perspective when we're talking about business or business. So there's so much emphasis and so much, you know, talk around the narrative, what's going on, especially politically. So we all know what's wrong. We all know, the problem. So we can talk about it. We can, discuss it. But when we talk about the problem so much, sometimes we unknowingly empower the problem. We unknowingly, start to add energy to the problem because where your attention goes, energy flows. And so we sometimes put too much focus on the problem instead of the solution. And so the goal is to understand not only the problem, it's important to understand where kind of like where you're starting from. That's important, but it's very important, or it's more important to know where you're going, to know the solution, to be able to over and understand. Okay, we understand the problem, but how do we get to the solution? What is the solution? We got point A. We want to get to from point A to point B. So I want to jump in and just talk about what I call my 2026 playbook, especially when it talks about how to build and establish your own presence using your purpose. So everything starts with purpose. First thing, you got to know your purpose. You got to know your destiny. You got to know your destiny. Otherwise, you're kind of like, shooting in the dark. So the universe collapses with a made up mind. The universe also collapses when your mind is not made up. Let's say you're not sure. So then you leave it up to God to kind of lead you and guide you in all truth. Okay, that works as well. But that takes longer because, again, it has so many different options that it can go into. And since everything is a mirror, and so if you're fuzzy, then the results are fuzzy. If you're specific, then the results are more specific. But you can change it. So it's not like we were taught when we were raised, like, make your bed, you lie in it. That's true. But if you make your bed, you lie in it, you don't like that bed, you can make another bed. So that's the part they left out. The part they left out is the fact that we are individual expressions of God on earth. So we get to not only make our bed, but we get to also make another bed if we don't like that bed. Source code has already made a bed for us. That's the best option, as always. That's why I do Dear Connect reports, not only for individuals, but also for businesses. So not only as an individual should you have your Dear Connect report, your destiny report that tells you everything that you need to know, operating statement, mission statement, goal statement, and we'll go through some of this real quickly here. And this probably be backwards because of the video, but this lets me know exactly, how to coach. So when I'm talking to somebody, what this says is this is the goal, objective, dream, action, responsibility, mission, operating, marketing, purpose, values, foundation, and vision. So all of this is in your life optimization circle, which comes from your name and your date of birth. So if you take your name of the business and the date that the business was incorporated, you get the same thing. So that's how we should be operating as, individual expressions of God on earth. That's the best way to operate. There's a lot of different ways, but again, this is the most, in my humble opinion, expedient way of operating. So let's jump in a little bit further down the rabbit trail. So this is what I call, how as believers, we are able to establish and build wealth without selling our soul. This is, again, this ability for us to turn whatever our God-given destiny and Dear Connect is. So first of all, you got to find it in order for you to, turn it into your purpose where you're able to generate a predictable income, let's say 5K. It could be 10K, 20K, 1K, whatever. But how to do that and how to do that systematically in a step-by-step system. Like within a certain period of time for me, let's say 90 days. Now you can do 30 days, 90 days, shorter, faster, again, totally up to you. The point is there's a system in place. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's already a system in place that allows us to move forward in our God-given destiny, Dear Connect, and everything starts there. This is the ability to turn your own God-given assignment into a predictable income. And let's say again, for me, if we're talking about 5Ks, you're talking about 5K a month without selling your soul. Selling your soul means that you're doing something that occupies your mind, will, emotion, imagination, intellect that doesn't animate the heart. Bam, you just sold your soul. So it's talking about the fact that we are animated by source. So the Bible says it this way: seek ye first the kingdom of God, his righteousness, all these things will be added. So that means first. So you're always understanding that there are, for me, there is a step-by-step process in place. And that step-by-step process is what, not only I've done, but I also have, been sharing this with my clients. And some people find the same benefits that I've found. And it's starting with step one of these 5 steps. Step one is what I call making sure that you over and understand it. You always put God first. Should go without saying, but you got to say it. Because again, what does that mean? That simply means that you have to clarify the difference between ownership and management. So we're the managers. So source code created the earth, created Adam and Eve, put Adam in the garden and told him to what? So he's supposed to work it. He's supposed to till it. He's supposed to oversee. He's supposed to manage it. So no difference. Our garden is the earth. So we've been put here in the earth by God. And now that we are here, what do? Well, that word in the Greek is the Greek word kurios. Kurios means manager. So the household manager, where I also get the word kleros or kleronomics. Kleros means, again, manager. So you're supposed to manage your own mind, will, emotion, imagination, intellect. And you're supposed to manage your lot, your share, and your destiny. That's your job. And so the inability to define your lot, your share, your destiny, that's the issue. So the problem is, what does that mean? Because everybody's everybody's destination is different. Your job is to find and fulfill your own God-given destiny. So I have my board back here. That's what I've been doing for the last 30 plus years, is helping people to find and fulfill. So number one is you have to clarify. Let's break this down here a little bit further for you, so that way you can understand what I'm saying. All right, so that's, again, we want to clarify. So about that. It's not about clarifying that God owns the business, and so you're able to define, again, what the target is and all that good stuff. Then we're able to we'll jump over to number 2. Number 2 is to then look at the niche. You're able to fine-tune your niche. That simply means the smaller the niche, the faster you get rich. I talk about this all the time. A lot of times, people make the mistake that I did. And again, you can do it. It just takes longer. So you want to narrow it down. You want to find what God has designed and gifted you to do. Because everybody has a different purpose, a different destiny, different destiny. You have to dare to be you. I talk about that all the time. Number 3, again, then you get into, again, creating the content, creating a plan, learn on how to ethically establish Spirit-led or Holy Spirit-led sales conversions. Tapping into what God has designed and gifted you, because it's more about service than it is about sales. Then number 4, again, establishing boundaries. Number 5 is the 90-day implementation plan. So again, break all of this down inside of the class, inside the book, inside the course. Different levels, got basic, intermediate, and advanced. All this is available at my website under the Done For You link, where there is 3 different options where you can, again, just take the information and do it yourself. Or you can work one-on-one, or you can work in part of a group setting where I take a group of individuals and we go through this 90-day process of establishing, finding, and fulfilling your own God-given destiny and destiny. Now, the reason why this is so important, especially from a group perspective, because, again, when you're able to bring about transformation instead of information, the ability to take a group of people and we don't move forward until everybody in the group has experienced a transformation. Transformation starts with first identifying your own purpose, your own destiny, your own destiny, because nothing happens until you establish your true ID, because that's where your power comes from. Your power literally comes from your ability to establish this way by which you have identified how God has established his frequency, his wave, his verbal vibration inside of you. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose is to realize, okay, that everybody's different. We all are individual expressions of God on earth, but the way God established himself inside of you. So that clarifies your assignment. It's really very important that you are able to discern your true spiritual destiny. That's the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do because it's so clouded. It's so muddied because there's so much information. There's so many distractions. But when we understand how to create your own purpose-based profit plan, a purpose-based profit plan, that purpose-based profit plan is totally different because you're able to realistically break down and project how your purpose is going to assist certain people in fulfilling their niche. Because again, God takes you through the experience of something before he gives you the knowledge of something. And so you have this personal real life experience that you've personally went through. So you're able to design an offer that serves, not manipulate. So when you design an offer that serves and it doesn't manipulate, that creates a system. That establishes clients. That creates cash flow because you're not just sharing information. You're actually sharing, you're doing something I'm doing. I had no purpose, no destiny, no dick in here. I didn't know why I was here on earth. So I established a system to help me using numerology and gematria and theomathematics and all of the stuff that I have on my website at dearconnectreport.com and the main website, masterteacher33.com. And so that's based upon real life personal experience. And so that comes from a place that allows me to speak from a place of authority. So I'm able to set up systems that actually produce guaranteed results. That's the point of the class. The point of the class is to bring about results, not information. You can get information anywhere, but it's to establish a system, to systemize, to refine, and then to aim so that way your model, your niche, your product, your service, your offer, again, does the same thing that mine does. It doesn't sell, it serves. You're here to serve. You're here to assist people with getting from point A to point B. Same way the big G, same way God has assisted you with getting from point A to point B. That's the only reason why we're here. We're all here for the same purpose and for the same reason. That is to establish heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is a high vibration. It is a way of thinking where you're operating from a place of love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, and self-control. Why? Because that allows you to move forward in the face of extreme adversity. So the plan, if you use that term, the goal, the destiny is for you to establish. We know all the problems going on, but you should be so focused on your own purpose, destiny, and diaconia that despite all of the issues that's going on in the world, we are in this world, but we are of heaven. We're in the world, but we're not of the world. We are made of love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, and self-control. So that is the product, the service, the information that we're promoting. So for more information, man, check out the book. Again, we got basic, intermediate, and advanced. The book is $99. The entire course depends on where you want to start, where you want to go with the basic, the intermediate, or the advanced. Email me any questions. drwillrogers33@gmail.com. If you've got any questions, drwillrogers, the number 33 at gmail.com. Holla at your boy.